CBD is a game changer sweeping the nation. This hemp extract is the natural way to elevate your mood, eliminate aches and pains, reduce anxiety, and keep you sleeping all night long. It can even cut your workout recovery time in half. Get in the game today with 20% off all orders of CBD and lavender products from Lavender Lane, a lavender farm located right here in Milan, Michigan. Just go to lavenderlanemi.com today and enter coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order. Guys, look, these amazing products are infused with calming lavender to maximize their effectiveness, meaning your CBD items only take minutes to take effect, which is way quicker than those pills you were about to swallow. On top of it, they are perfect for men and women. Lavender Lane has lab-tested CBD creams, tinctures, and roll-ons that are perfect for any situation, even if you're on the go. Put your health back in your hands by heading over to lavenderlanemi.com and entering coupon code Detroit for 20% off your entire order of CBD and lavender products. What do you have to lose? Your satisfaction is guaranteed or your money back. So if you need lavender gifts for your loved ones or just looking for the natural way to ease your discomfort with CBD, go to lavenderlanemi.com and use coupon code Detroit to unlock these miraculous benefits of CBD and lavender. That's lavenderlanemi.com. And remember, use coupon code DETROIT for 20% off your CBD and lavender products from Michigan's own Lavender Lane.
This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
What's up, Detroit sports fans? Welcome back to the Fan Reporter Show, made by fans for fans, powered by the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. I'm Nick, and sitting right across from me is Andrew, who's going to give us this week's topics.
The Lions are still technically undefeated, at least until next week. There was some good, some bad, some ugly in this game, and I think the rest of the East would agree. Did you catch what I did there? Oh, you did? Good on you, unlike Aguilar. This is the Fan Report.
Unlike Aguilar. The rest of the East would agree? I'm confused. What?
So Nick didn't catch it. All right. I said there was some good, bad, and ugly in this game. The rest of the East would agree. Good and bad, the ugly. Clint Eastwood.
Oh. Wow, I really didn't catch that. That was clever. I like that.
And then I said, did you catch that? You did. Good on you, unlike Aguilar. Did you see the
It wasn't just Aguilar.
No,
it was everybody.
Oh, you must have missed the video that was out
No,
there
I saw
today.
the video of the firefighter, dude. I saw the video. But clever. Very, very clever. However, it wasn't just Aguilar dropping balls for the Eagles. It was everybody.
It was a reference.
I know. Well, Lions got a victory on Sunday. Mm-hmm. A bit of a surprise considering our comments last week. Granted, things had changed by the weekend. Mm-hmm. I believe we even went into... things changed by the day after we released the podcast. Granted, we recorded a couple days prior to that, but injuries started becoming more into the light of whether or not certain players are going to play, and by that I mean the top two receivers for Philly. You started seeing more and more likelihood that Taylor Decker and Jared Davis were going to play. Mm-hmm. We got them. That did end up happening. So it looked to be more and more in favor of the Lions possibly being able to pick up a dub in this game as we got into the weekend. Even to the point where on our live show on Thursday, I think we picked the Lions with the points.
We weren't as high on Monday.
We were not as high on Monday, but
come Thursday,
things changed. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a pretty game by any stretch. It was a very ugly game. Special teams finally made some plays. You had Matt Prater straighten out his kicking woes. Mm-hmm. You had Jamal Agnew return a kickoff for a touchdown for the first time in his career, if I recall. 100 yards. Yep. With no flags on the play, might I add. And you had some good special teams plays all around for the most part. I actually thought special teams played quite nicely. Mm-hmm. You had some nice punts down there, pinning them back deep. You had a face mask that was the most egregious thing I've ever seen not get called, which resulted in Philly starting on their own 15-yard line. See, I feel dirty saying, chalking that up as a lucky thing. Because we didn't deserve that. They should have started at the 30 instead of the 15. However, I still don't think they score on that drive. At least a touchdown. But there was a lot of good, bad, and a lot of ugly, as you mentioned in the intro.
We did lose Mike Daniels.
We did lose Mike Daniels to potentially a pretty serious
He
foot
was
injury.
Spotted in a walking boot and
supposedly
and
not no broken bones though from an X-ray is what I read today. If I recall, that's what I read. Might have been someone else, but I'm pretty sure it was him. Darius
I haven't
Slay.
heard an update on Mike Daniels since yesterday.
Darius Slay also came up with an injury during the game. That's something to keep an eye on, especially for next week, considering the matchup we've got. You're going to need all your secondary pieces going into that Chiefs game. It was a game that, frankly, I originally did not peg the Lions winning. And I did not have the Lions starting 2-0-1. Granted, who has a team starting with a tie?
I'm calling it. They tie next week against the Chiefs. We're gonna be 2-0-2.
I'm happily surprised the Lions are quote unquote unbeaten through 3 weeks. We said last week that the Lions, to remain in the divisional conversation, in the playoff conversation, they need to at least go 1-2 in their next 3. Well, they got their 1.
Yeah.
And that came against the Eagles. So now, I don't want to say they're playing with house money, but according to my standards, they're playing with house money now. If they pick up another game, that's far and away exceeding expectations.
Not expecting a win next week. I'm just going to throw that.
No,
out
the
there.
way the Chiefs look is otherworldly.
I don't think there's any team in this league right now will pick against the Chiefs. Right?
Maybe the Patriots.
The
Patriots have looked amazing as well.
Maybe it'll be close. I'm still picking the Chiefs.
I think the Cowboys would be a team that would give them a run, too. They've been pretty damn good also.
Baltimore did give them a run. It was good. I mean, the final score was close in the actual game.
Yeah, it was because of a garbage time rushing touchdown.
It actually did, they had a chance at the end to win it there, and they couldn't pull through.
Well, you can thank garbage time rushing touchdown for Lamar Jackson, which probably saved a lot of people's fantasy days, because it turned a pretty piss-poor fantasy day for Lamar Jackson into a very respectable day.
I mean, I don't think you can call it garbage time, because that's a score brought them to striking distance. I don't think you can call it garbage time.
They were they had to hit a 2-point conversion to go within 8 points at that point, if I recall. Or to get within 8 points at that point, if I remember right. So it wasn't anything to write home about.
I mean, they only lost by 5.
Yeah, because they hit a field goal later. But maybe it was the touchdown that put them within 5. I know at one point they went from 11 to 8. Then they scored a touchdown and missed it and didn't get the 2-point conversion for the 3rd time in the game. There was some weird play. There was
a lot of weird coaching decisions by John Harbaugh.
Weird coaching decisions in that game. Like, he went for 2 when
he was going for 2 like it was Madden. That's what
he went for 2 when they were down by 11 after scoring, as opposed to just kicking a field goal to go down by 10. It made 0 sense to me for him to do that. Like, it didn't make sense at all. And then they missed the 2. That was the first time they went for 2. They missed it, and we're down by 11 now, as opposed to 10. Which, in my opinion, ended up really kind of royally screwing them later, because it changes up the way you game plan late in games. But
let's get back to this Mike Daniels thing. How crucial is this Mike Daniels injury for the Lions?
Well, considering the Lions' run defense hasn't been good at all thus far, really, I've not been impressed with the Lions' run defense at all so far this season. You've had some running backs really gash you. You had David Johnson run all over you. You had Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson literally run all over you. You had Jordan Howard put up some respectable numbers and have some big runs in this game. You had a big run by Miles Sanders, who was quite literally averaging like 2.5 yards a carry. That's not good for a team that the run defense, the run stopping was something that I considered going into the season to be one of their biggest strengths. And it's not panned out. So those guys along the D-line and Ashawn Robinson and Snacks Harrison, the linebacking core, they all need to wake up and start playing the way that they're capable of.
Yeah.
Because they're not stopping the run as effectively as they need to. Once they face a legitimate running back who's healthy with a good O-line, they're in trouble. And by the way that LaShawn McCoy's looking right now, they may be in trouble next week.
True. I do think the bigger focal point against Chiefs next week is obviously going to be.
It's the air raid.
Yeah,
There's no question about that.
I do agree that I do think the Mike Daniels injury is a pretty significant one for us, but it's not like we don't. I do like our depth along the D line, especially in the
They do
interior.
have more depth at that position
So,
than they do elsewhere.
I
There's
think
no
if
question
I think
about
if he's
that.
out for a few weeks, I think it's something that we can. I think it's a loss that we can mitigate with Snacks and with Ashawn Robinson. But
On paper, yes, but as of right now, they're not. Those guys are not performing as of right now, and losing another player along that D line is not going to help them at all. I'm scared of losing Mike Daniels right now because the rest of those guys are not performing very well. Not Ashawn. Snacks has quite literally been non-existent the first 3 weeks. I don't think I've heard his name called more than once a game. That's not like him. He is a good player, a very good player, and arguably the best run-stopping nose tackle in the entire league. He's got to wake up and start playing. I love Snacks. I'm a huge fan of his.
he did have a sack last game.
Yeah, but it was one of those. Wasn't it one of the ticky-tack ones that like kind of was a coverage sack, and he just kind of ended up getting there? Wasn't really anything. If I recall, it wasn't really anything to write home about.
Sack's a sack, but
I mean, there's a sack that's a coverage sack, and there's a sack that's a line sack. If it takes you 6 seconds to get to the quarterback, but the coverage holds up, how good were you really? Like, let's be honest. Another guy I think really needs to start wake up and playing is Trey Flowers. The pass rush needs to be better. Again, we invested a lot of money in the offseason on that D-line, and we have yet to really show for it.
I don't know. You Trey Flowers are our best guy. Was our best guy in the front seven. What? Yeah, I mean, he had
yes and no. Jared Davis had some plays.
Tackles. He had a sack as well.
Jared Davis had some plays. Yeah, but Trey Flowers has also missed a lot. He's also not been able to quite get
He
going.
also had a really stupid roughing the passer penalty.
Looking at the penalty, it shouldn't have been called.
You don't think so?
No. It was a bad call. Trey Flowers is already on the ground, and Carson Wentz backed up into him and fell over him.
No, there was another guy on the ground. Trey Flowers got it right into him.
That was Trey Flowers on the ground.
Then who was the guy that ran into him? Because I thought that's what the penalty was.
He didn't actually run into him. The penalty was on the player who was on the ground.
It looked like he ran in. It looked like it was someone ran into him. It was tabletopped over the guy.
It was
on the
a
ground.
bad penalty call. If you rewatch the play, it was a bad play. It was a bad call. It was a makeup call for the missed face mask. Is what it was.
But anyway, speaking of the run game, on our end, abysmal. Now,
it took a trick play to get any kind of legitimate positive yardage with your run game in this one.
There is one stat from this game that actually surprised me. This is per Next Gen Stats. Kerryon Johnson actually faced an 8-man box against the Eagles on 60% of his snaps, which is most of any NFL running back this week.
That's a lot.
Why? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know why they were so focused on stopping the run, but...
Well, the Lions are showing a lot of play-action offense, and that's what Darrell Bevel's known for. And I'm actually curious to see how many 8-man boxes a Darrell Bevel offense faced back in Seattle. I can guarantee you it's a lot.
Yeah.
Granted, they had Marshawn Lynch, but my point remains the same. They're a play-action style offense, and play-action style offenses tend to face heavier box sets. Reason being... more tight ends, more tight end action, which means you can line up a safety or a linebacker on somebody like that. And we feature a lot of tight ends. C.J. Hawkinson's in there a lot. So is Jesse James, who also got hurt this weekend, by the way.
But when I think about it, considering you're facing an 8-man box, I'm really curious why Stafford couldn't muster more than 201 yards in the air.
Well, I mean...
Our only receiver worth a damn last week was Marvin Jones.
Well, Kenny Galladay was clearly non-existent. He wasn't there at all.
They took him away. They took him
did.
away.
They probably were putting him in bracket coverage. But at that point, guys like Marvin Jones and Danny Amendola need to get open. And Marvin Jones did.
Hawk had a couple of big drops. And then he had that one catch in the end zone that...
still don't know what happened with that play.
Yeah, it looked to me like he was in bounds, but they must have called it out of bounds, which made the Lions not want to decline the penalty that was on that play.
The offsides in the play, yeah. And then they just punched it with carry on the next play, which isn't a big deal. But the running game in particular was just absolutely abysmal in this week, and so far this year it's not been good. And yes, I know we've had some injuries along the O line with Taylor Decker just recently coming back.
Yeah.
But that's an excuse, and this is another area where the Lions have invested a lot of assets in with Rick Wagner, with Frank Ragnow, with Graham Glasgow, with Taylor Decker over the last few years that they need to execute. They need to get the running game going if they want to have this play action offense that Darrell Bevel likes to run actually work. The biggest thing about your play action offense is setting the tone with the run and mixing in some pass to throw off the defense. That's what you got to do. And if the run game isn't there, your passing game's not going to work in a play-action offense. It's just fact.
Are you expecting more eight-man boxes in the future for carry-on?
I mean, sure, yes. It depends on the game.
It was a stat that really caught me off guard.
It depends on the game and depends on the team they're playing against. If it's a team that likes to play a 3-3-5 a little bit more, probably not. If it's a team that likes to play a little bit more man coverage, maybe. I don't know. If it's you're playing a team that likes to put their corners on an island out there, then yeah, I think we do. But if it's a team that plays more of a zone defense, which the Eagles are known to do. Yeah. So it's going to depend on the team. You are going to see games where Kerryon Johnson faces a 7-8 man box on a regular basis, and then there's going to be games where he doesn't see more than 6 to 7 at all. Mm-hmm. And those games, I'd expect him to perform well.
So I guess what I'm going to get at here is, in your opinion, what would you blame this 1.8 yard per carry performance for Kerryon more on? Do you blame more on the fact that he was facing stacked boxes, or are you putting the blame more on the offensive line?
I think it's a little bit of both,
or is it on Kerryon himself?
I think it's a little bit of all three. Mm-hmm. And reason being, and you can say that it was an 8 man box, okay, but what about weeks 1 and 2 when he didn't face the 8 man box as much? He didn't get going then either. Mm-hmm. And so you can put the blame on Kerryon and the O-line at that point because they didn't do anything this week to change that at all. So until I'm proven otherwise, the blame can from my seat on the couch at home watching the game, the blame can sit with the O-line and with Kerryon Johnson for not hitting the holes that are given to him and the line not creating enough of them, not springing them out there. They need to be better. And I know he faced some tough matchups in this week against the Eagles, but again, he needs to be better. Mm-hmm. Everybody does. The offense as a whole needs to be better. They put up, 20 points this week? And that's with field goals in there. Mm-hmm. I believe it was 2, 3? 2. Yeah, 2 for Matt Prater. Yeah. So 2 touchdowns, all you scored this week. 1 rushing, 1 passing. And the passing one came in a critical time, that's for sure. But you need to be better. Some of those drives that you had short field on 2 fumbles, one by Nelson Aguilar that Darius Slay ran back a long way, and one by Miles Sanders in his own end. Mm-hmm. You have to get more than 3 points out of those.
You were gifted some
right. You have to get more than 3 points out of those, and that's where you got your field goals. Yeah, that's unacceptable if you ask me. You need to convert those into touchdowns. Points off turnovers are huge. It's the NFL.
Did you see that one play? One of the plays that Carson Wentz got sacked on. The offensive line blocked for about 2 seconds and then collectively just stood up and stopped moving. I don't know if you saw it. It looked like a Madden glitch. They all just stopped, and then there was 3 guys just unblocked going to Carson Wentz.
That's funny.
It felt to me. It really felt like the Eagles' heads were not in this game, and that's why I kind of feel like we were almost gifted this game because it was not a good looking win on our end.
From what I saw, the Lions were the Eagles beat themselves with 7 dropped passes, including 2 in the end zone, with an offensive PI by Darren Sproles at the end of the game that really was just a dumb play on his part. With 3 fumbles, one of which was a guy who was quite literally not even touched when he fumbled the football. 2 fumbles lost, two of which one was lost or fumbled, but they recovered, and then 2 plays later, the same guy fumbled again. Yeah. That type of stuff is how you beat yourself. Carson Wentz actually, in my opinion, played a good game. I thought he put the ball where he needed to in the right spot, and his receivers couldn't catch it. Now, I know they're playing with their 3rd and 4th string receivers out there, but that's irrelevant in my mind because he put the ball where he needed to. The receivers got to catch those balls, especially the ones in the end zone. Especially the ones in the end zone. In my mind, the Eagles beat themselves more than the Lions beat them this week. Lions played enough of a game to grind out a victory, made enough of the right plays to make themselves win. And yes, that's what the NFL is about, is making enough of the right plays at the right time to get yourself a win. And the Eagles didn't do that. But again, the Lions didn't do anything extravagant or crazy this week that says, hey, watch out for these guys.
All right, so I want to take this a little more big picture here and kind of just evaluate the Lions as a whole. Sitting at 2-1, I wouldn't call them straight up really good wins, but I also wouldn't call them wins against cupcakes. So you did take on the Eagles and the Chargers, so they're not being cupcake teams.
They're not the same teams they were.
Yeah,
they are, though.
Exactly. So I'm saying, but at the same time, they're not cupcakes. They're just 2 decent wins.
2 good quarterbacks.
Yeah. What's your confidence on lines right now in this 2-1 start?
I still have a question mark next to this team. I'm happy right now. They've exceeded my expectations to start the year. I will give them that. In a really weird, in really weird fashion. I expected a one in the win column against Arizona. I did not expect ones in the win column against or LA and Philly.
They're defying predictions in every way.
Right. And I guess that's okay. That's more than okay. That's good. That means they're beating teams that I think will be considered good teams by the end of the year. And what's the knock against Stafford? His record against teams above 500. Well, you got 2 games that we've won now against teams that very likely could be above 500 by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So there are some things to look at positively here. Definitely. There's definitely things to look at positively. I thought the secondary played quite well. I thought the player in Mike Ford that stepped in for Darius Slay when Slay went down played exceptionally well. There are things to look at that were very positive in this game to make plays. I thought Devon Kennard, in my opinion, I think actually Devon Kennard was their best player in the front seven, continuously making plays, filling gaps, and then he made the game-saving tackle on Carson Wentz on that scramble at the end of the game as well, from behind. I thought plays were made all over the field on defense, including in the secondary, which is a position group that I was very worried about.
Yeah.
I thought Justin Coleman made a couple of nice plays. I thought Slay made a couple of nice plays. There was a lot to be happy about. And again, Jelani Tavai had another tackle or an assisted tackle for loss in this game. He's looking like he's going to be a nice piece. A lot of positives and a lot of negatives from this game. Again, it was an ugly game, but.
How do we stack up against the current class in the NFC North in the Green Bay Packers? I mean, the Packers are 3-0. Their offense has not looked as good as expected, but their defense looked better than expected. That has,
in my opinion, is a little bit similar to the Lions in the sense that I don't think we've gotten the full extent of what their offense can do.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer that this Lions offense is better than what we've seen the first 3 weeks. They're better than this.
Yeah, I
Stafford's
agree.
a guy
100%.
who can throw 300 to 300.
We know Carry-On's better
plus
than this.
yards a game and 3 touchdowns.
We hope Hawk is better than he's been the last 2 weeks.
Honestly, I'll be straight up honest with you. I think obviously the first week numbers are just a splash in the pan because if you look at tight ends against Arizona all 3 weeks, they've all torched them. Look at Greg Olsen this week.
Yeah, that's true.
They've all torched them, and Greg Olsen's like 100.
It's like the Cardinals just don't.
They don't know how to cover tight ends. Remember the Lions from 3 years back when the backup tight end from who was it?
I'll take it one further. They forgot tight ends are a position on the field.
Yeah. Well, essentially the Lions from 2 or 3 years ago. Remember the backup tight end from Carolina when Greg Olsen was down torches for like 180 yards? Yeah, that's the Cardinals this year. Every tight end that's played them has torched them. So I'll be honest, I think what we're seeing out of TJ Hawkinson right now is a little bit closer to the norm of what to expect going forward than what we saw in week 1. I really do.
I think it's somewhere in the middle.
I don't think
0-1 catch games from Hawk. I mean,
I don't think it's that. I think somewhere in the middle is still like a 6 catch,
wide
80
range. That's
6 catch, 85-yard performance. I think that's too high.
I'm not saying exact middle, but I'm saying you're looking at 2 extremes right now.
I'm looking at below the middle. Below the middle. I'm looking at like 3-4 catches for 50 yards. That's what I expect out of TJ with the occasional touchdown every now and then.
I don't disagree with that. What I'm saying is I'm not expecting 0 catches, 1 catch for 10 yards. I'm not expecting
I think there's going to be a number of games where he has that this year, though. He's a rookie tight end. It's hard to translate at that position to the NFL.
It's very true.
Very hard. But defensively, there are positives to look at. The run stopping needs to be better. The running game on offense needs to be better. The whole offense just needs to be better. Kenny Golladay needs to show up. And one thing that I'm going to call out Kenny Golladay a little bit here. If he wants to take that step up and be a number 1 receiver in this league, he needs to be better than what he was on Sunday.
He can't let double
disappear.
teams take him out.
And it wasn't just double teams. Because in situations where there's an 8-man box, where's the double team? You can't double team. There's 3 guys left.
True.
So he's facing single coverage and just not getting open, not getting separation. I know they have Malcolm Jenkins. He's a very good corner, but you got to be better. If you want to be a number 1 receiver in the league, you got to set yourself above. You got to be the guy like you were in week 2. Yeah. You got to be the guy. And is he capable? Absolutely. but he needs to step up a little bit more than what he did against Philly.
Yeah.
And Marvin Jones played a fantastic game and took advantage of a lot of single coverage. Awesome. We need him to do that. If Galladay's not able to do it, he needs to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But comparing us to the Packers, I think both teams have yet to show what they really got on offense. And I think both teams, I think the Packers in particular are playing a little bit above on defense. I think the Lions in certain ways are honestly playing a little bit below on defense. I think this defense is better than what we've seen. They've been really good at times and really bad at times. I think they're somewhere in the middle there.
And we do get a juicy Monday night matchup with the Packers in 2 weeks.
We do. I love it.
It's going to be fun.
I love it.
Might have to record this podcast like before or like immediately after as a reaction. I don't know how we tackle that. Maybe we do record it right after as a reaction.
Maybe we do. Yeah. Maybe we do. But what are your thoughts? What do you compare us to the Packers?
That's what I'm saying.
Who do you compare us to in this division?
That's what I was saying before. Like, the Packers, much like us, have been disappointing on offense. I think they are much more capable than what they've shown. Especially, you're looking at Aaron Rodgers throwing up like 220, 230-yard games. That's not Aaron Rodgers.
That's not.
You're looking
discount
at
double
Devontae
check.
Adams getting like 3 catches a game.
That's
That's not Devontae Adams. No. I don't know if it's a new coaching staff or if it's I don't know what it is. But I definitely we know these players on this offense.
Speaking of young coaches making weird decisions, did you see how Freddie Kitchens handled the end of that game last night?
No.
Oh my! It was like 3rd and 14. He calls it, and with like 2 minutes left, you're down by a touchdown. He calls a draw play.
I heard about it. It was like on 4th. I thought it was like on 4th and 9 or something.
Yeah. What the hell are you doing?
You know what it reminds me of? The old
Jim Bob Cooter.
The old Cooter.
Oh, guys, it's 3rd and 12. We can't do nothing. Draw play. Draw play.
We'll never see it coming. All right. but yeah. So I do, and then, but the Green Bay offense, yeah, against the Bears, they put up 10 points. It's the Bears. It's a great defense, but against the Vikings, 21 points. Against the Broncos, 27 points.
I mean those are all 3 good defenses. Let's give them credit where credit's due. Those are 3 good defenses. Chris Harris Jr. is one of the better corners in the NFL. He blanketed Devontae Adams all day.
Yeah.
It was known going in that was going to be a very tough matchup for him. And Marquez Valdes-Scantling succeeded as a result. The Vikings defense is a good defense. They've got a lot of talent on that defensive side. The Bears are who we thought they were.
You know what's a really good barometer? Next week against the Eagles.
I'll agree with you because the Eagles defense has not shown up
for the Packers to see how we stack up against them offensively. Because that's what I still don't know what to think of their defense. I mean, their defense has been really good.
They're playing above.
You think they're playing above? Or you think they're?
I think they're playing above. I really do. Again, they've played 2 offenses that are very suspect in the Bears, who Trubisky's garbage, and Joe Flacco, who he hasn't been good since basically Nam. The game against the Vikings is a little bit different. Dalvin Cook torched them, but then again, Dalvin Cook is torching everybody.
Yeah.
But Kirk Cousins was kept very quiet. Like, Kirk Cousins was straight up garbage in that game. See, that's why I don't know what to think about the Packers' defense. I do think they're playing
Packers
slightly
are the biggest
above.
enigma in the NFL to me right now.
They are. They're winning in ways that I wouldn't expect them to. They are. I mean, the Lions, I can't say, and you could argue the same thing about the Lions, however, I kind of expected the Lions to win ugly games this year. Like, I felt like the wins the Lions were going to get this year were going to come ugly. And they have. And that's, I'm okay with that. An ugly win is still a win, no matter who it comes against. It's the NFL. You know, it's week in, week out. Just win and survive. Win and keep going. Stay as healthy as you can. Win those ugly games. Scratch and claw and get yourself in the playoffs, and then make things happen. There's something to be said about teams that can win ugly games.
There's another team I want to look at in this division. That's the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow, just discounting the Bears enterely. Team that won 11 games last year.
Yeah, because we're based.
You really think Trubisky's trash?
It's because the theme I'm trying to. Because the Bears are technically underperforming offense, but I wouldn't even call underperforming. I don't expect that offense to be good.
Let's be real. They were better last year.
Yeah.
Trubisky was a better quarterback last year than he is right now. So I expect them to turn around a little bit.
But that Minnesota passing offense is not again, not
Come
what we
alive.
expected.
Stephon Diggs has quite literally been non-existent. Believe me, I would know. I own him in fantasy. He's killing me right now.
So what I'm basically what I'm trying to gauge here is, are these underperforming offenses in the NFC North between the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, and the Minnesota Vikings? I expect the Bears to be that way, but between those three teams, is that the norm? No. Is that, or okay? Who's gonna be the first team to pop?
You will see. In my opinion, this NFC North is the strongest division in football.
It's a tough.
It is the strongest division in football. Yeah. On honest to God, I think both sides of the ball. And I know the offense side doesn't look it right now, but all of these offenses have talent. The Bears have David Montgomery and Allen Robinson, both very good players. Well, we think David Montgomery is. Tariq Cohen is a very good player.
He finally got a shot with some carries last week. Let's see what happens tonight.
The Packers are the Packers. We know what they
25 points from.
Yikes. The Packers are the Packers. We know what they got. And the Vikings are the Vikings. We thought we knew what they had.
Yeah.
And one of the best receiving duos in the NFL. A quarterback who is a good game manager and serviceable in airing the ball out when he has to. And a very good running back. Well, that's what they got.
Yeah.
And that's what they've showcased so far outside of Kirk Cousins. Thielen's looked quite nice.
Yeah.
Diggs has been... But outside of that, I do think that offense is going to turn around. In the Packers, I do think that offense is going to turn around.
They're to be the highest scoring offense in the NFC North right now. They have the most...
The Vikings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have the most points scored in the NFC North.
Right. And the Packers, I expect to turn it around. And I expect the Lions to turn it around. I even expect the Bears to be better offensively than they've been. The Bears. Bears. Trubisky can't be this bad.
The Bears have scored not including tonight. The Bears have scored a total of 19 points in 2 games.
Yikes.
So
they can't be this bad. They can't be.
Yeah.
I think this division...
Compared to the Vikings, who scored 78 points in 3 games.
Right. I think this division is so strong, and it's going to be a bloodbath to win this division by the end of the year. Yeah. It's going to be rough.
I don't think we have a clear picture yet at all.
No, there is no clear picture, considering the team people had pegged at the top at the beginning of the season is at the very bottom. The team you had pegged at the bottom is second. The team you had pegged third is...
Well, it depends if you had the...
Yeah, it depends. I mean, and the Packers are unbeaten in ways that we don't expect them to be. It's an interesting look. It is.
But
nobody's in their proper spots.
Yeah. Get in position.
No, I'm good with the Lions where they're at. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it rolling.
All right, let's look ahead real quick to the Chiefs. This looks like a pretty unwinnable game.
You're not wrong.
I'm sitting here trying to think, is there anything the Lions can do to win this game? Put pressure on the quarterback. Mahomes can escape pressure.
Contain. Pressure and contain. If you can do that, you can slow down Mahomes. You got to make sure you don't break contain when it comes to Pat Mahomes.
Are you taking any solace in the fact that the Vikings offense is banged up? Because Chiefs offense, because in my opinion, it feels right now like everyone that the Chiefs have is
trot out there is still going to be good. I will say this: I think the Lions' secondary players and Darius Slay, granted if he's healthy, and Justin Coleman are better than what they've faced. I will say that. Who Slay covers, I don't know. They may have him relegated to his side because of the injury. And if that's the case, he'll be probably facing a number of guys. But I think guys like Rashaan Melvin, Justin Coleman, I think they can keep up with McCole Hardman and DeMarcus Robinson. I do. I really believe that. I know Hardman runs a 4.2 40, but he's...
No, I was going to say, is there any D-back on our team?
Quite literally, well, Slay runs a 4.31, so he's close or something like that. But Hardman is a boomer bust, and if you can keep him in front of you, he won't beat you. Yeah. So I think there is something that we can do to stop them. It's don't give up the big play. Keep it as a safety. Don't let anybody behind you. When blitzing, be careful. Get to the quarterback, or you will pay.
Is it just me for like? If I was the defensive coordinator here, for some reason I'm kind of like sitting back in terms. I'm not really thinking about blitzing too much.
Oh, I am.
Really?
Oh yeah. Beat a gunslinging quarterback. Put pressure on him. Don't give him time. Don't give his receivers time to get downfield.
Mahomes can run.
Okay, contain. Run a contain. Use your ends. Use your linebackers to run a contain. Put a spy on him. Do whatever you got to do. Keep him in the pocket and collapse that bitch.
So a lot of people dedicate linebackers to a blitz, dedicate another one to a
Four or
spy.
five guys. That's doable. You can do that. You can get a pass rush in there. Run a 3-3-5, blitz 4, blitz 5. You can do that. Happens. You have talent on your D line. That's the thing. You have good talent. A'Shawn Robinson is a very, very good nose tackle. Trey Flowers is a very, very good defensive end. Romeo Quara is good. Devon Kennard is good. Christian Jones looks good. Jared Davis is good. Got a lot of talent on that D-line, man. Use it. Utilize it. Throw some stunt packages in there with your pass rush. Confuse the O-line. Confuse Pat Mahomes. Do what you got to do. Make things happen. Make plays. If you can get into the backfield, force him to run to one side of the field where he's either having to throw across his body inaccurately, off his back foot inaccurately, cut off one side of the field by forcing him to roll out, you did good, kid.
You did good, kid.
That's what you want. You want to take away half the field from him because then you can narrow the options down and make plays that way. You just got to do what you got to take away bits and pieces of their offense. Contain. Don't let
there's
the
like
Pat
no
Mahomes
like
beat you
one
with his
guy.
legs.
Like, other than Pat
That's the
Mahomes,
thing
there's
is
like no one guy you can't
take
focus on.
away the whole offense.
can't
You got to
play Bill
take away
Belichick
bits
style.
and pieces and do enough defensively to slow them down.
Yeah.
Take away bits and pieces of their offense and slow them down. You can't stop them all together. It's not possible.
Yeah.
They're too good. Pat Mahomes is too good. Shit, Shady looks good. And who the hell would have thought that?
You still have to worry about Travis Kelce. Like
Travis Kelce's very good. Although I think I will say, unlike years past, I think our coverage linebackers are far better than what they've been.
I agree.
So I have a little bit more faith there. Do I think Kelce still beats us occasionally? Absolutely. He's the best tight end in the league for a reason.
Yeah.
But I think we're better than most at that spot. It's a tall order to beat this Chiefs team. They're one of the best in the NFL for a reason. Would I be shocked if the Lions pulled it out? Yes. Yeah, absolutely. However,
do you know how high I'd be on the Lions if we took down the Chiefs?
Oh. You know how high everybody would be. You'd see the Lions.
Side of Andrew coming on this podcast.
You would see the Lions jump into the top 10 of power rankings.
Oh, easily.
They're
already in the top 10 of power rankings.
No, they're not. They're 22.
What power ranking are you looking at?
The recent one.
Then again, I didn't look at one after the Eagles win, but I looked at one after.
The one I saw, they were like back end.
Really?
They were mid to back. Yeah.
For a team that hasn't lost yet.
Yup. Because they haven't won pretty. That's the thing. Is power rankings like pretty and sex appeal? Lions don't have that.
True.
But it's gonna be a tall order. But there are things that you can look at that can be in your favor. Pass rush. You can look at the fact that you play at home.
Jump from 20 to 14 on this one.
Okay,
this
fair.
Is Sporting News. That was the first one I saw.
Okay. You're playing at home. Get loud. Be obnoxious. Make the O-line jump early or delay a game penalties. You did it against how loud this fan base was against the Bears just a few years back on the Monday night game.
Oh,
Get louder. Be louder.
Oh, yeah.
Force mistakes. You got a lot of youth on that offense of the Chiefs. Take advantage of it. Mahomes is still young. McCole Hardman is a rook. Demarcus Robinson, I believe, is young. There's a lot of youth there.
Yeah.
Take advantage. Make it happen. The fans can play a big impact in this game. They can. If they're loud and make and force errors. You know, a 2nd and 5.
You'll be a packed house.
Say Mahomes is a 3rd and 4 from the Lions 38. False start becomes a 3rd and 9 from the 43. That's a little bit different of a situation, and one I would feel much more comfortable with.
Thing with the Chiefs, though, I'm afraid if they have like 3rd and 30, I'm still scared.
You're not wrong. However,
it's like they can still get the shit.
However, I'd be pretty comfortable with that. Just you got your offense. The Chiefs' defense is not very good. Their pass rush is still pretty good, but other than that, like their secondary is nothing to write home about. You can beat these guys with your offense. You have talent. Kenny Galladay should have a field day. T.J. Hawkinson should have a field day. Kerryon Johnson should have a field day. Marvin Jones should have a field day. Matt Stafford should be able to put dimes wherever he damn well pleases and hopefully keep up with them.
So it sounds like you're pretty confident in the fact that we can just keep this close.
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm expecting a 10 to 14 point victory for the Chiefs, but I
have
do,
the talent to keep.
yes, I just haven't seen the execution make me believe yet.
Yeah.
We have the talent on paper. I think
right
we're
on
one
that.
of the more talented teams in
you're right
football
on
on paper. But I haven't seen the execution there to believe it yet.
I think you're right on that. And then because but I don't want to say I'm like super confident on the rest of the season, but after these next 2 games at the Chiefs, Packers, Vikings, those are 3 tough games. Mm-hmm. But then 5 of our next 6 games are very winnable games. You have the Giants, the Raiders,
Schedule
the Bears
softens up.
twice, the Redskins. You have the Cowboys too.
I don't consider the Bears winnable just yet. They're still in the mix. Their defense is the real deal.
Yeah, it's just the offense is laughable. But
Right now it is. By then I expect them to hit their stride a little bit. I do. I expect everybody's offense to be hitting some strides by then. I'm not writing off the Bears, and nobody should. You don't go from winning 11 games to winning nothing after that, to be a write-off team after that. They're a good team.
no, they are. They're
A very good
They're, in
team.
my opinion, the best defense in the league. But
The Rams are looking pretty damn good. I'm not considering that a soft.
I'm just
part
saying
of the schedule.
I'm more scared of the Bears. I'm less scared of the Bears than I am of these next 3 games of the Chiefs, Packers, Vikings, and then that Cowboys game in the mix. I'm less scared of the Bears than I am of those teams.
Yeah, I'll
That's
give
kinda
you
what I'm
that.
getting at.
I'm scared, less scared of the offense. I hope the Lions can score 10 points,
Yeah.
but if they do, they might win.
All right. Anything else to add before we sign off here?
Do we have a spread for the game?
I can look
Yeah.
it up real quick.
Yeah, because
Maybe
I'd like
Anderson.
to see if we have a spread dropped already. I don't think we do, considering it's still Monday. But
We did last week for the Eagles
did we?
game.
Okay.
Mhm. It's
Curious.
interesting. First site that comes up. Last word on pro football.
Really? Yeah. Oh, interesting. Well, you can close that right now. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right. Looks like the Chiefs are -6.5 right now.
-6.5. That's it.
I'm gonna go to Odd Shark real quick.
I'll be
to confirm
honest with
that
you.
one.
I would take the Chiefs on that.
Odd Shark has them at -6.
I would take the Chiefs on that. If the opening spread is Chiefs
I
-6.5,
think it's really expected to stay within a touchdown.
I guess so. That says something about the Lions, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Not a lot of teams stay within a touchdown of the Chiefs.
Nope.
That's tough. That's a tough task.
Yeah.
So it's a little respect going the Lions' way. I like that. I know 6.5 is still a lot of points in the NFL in a spread, but the fact that they're saying the Lions will stay within a touchdown of the Chiefs makes me happy. So not exactly high expectations. So you're saying Chiefs -6.5?
Yeah,
I'm taking Chiefs
I would
-6.5
say the
as
Chiefs on that
well.
one as well.
Let's hope we're wrong. Let's hope the Lions win outright.
Yeah.
All right, go Lions. Thank you guys for listening. That's going to be all for this week. Check us out next week. Find us live on twitch.tv, www.twitch.tv/thefanreport. Check out our Twitter @RealFanReport. You can ask us fantasy questions. We love talking fantasy. You can ask us
we'll be
Lions
going
questions.
deep into
You can
fantasy on the live show.
Tell
tonight,
us
so.
we're ugly. I don't know. You guys might know what we look like. Depends if you check the live show or not. But
Come on the live show. Look at us.
yeah.
Our face was ugly.
say it to my face. But thank you guys for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you guys next week. Andrew, thank you for joining me. Sorry I
Yes,
hugged
sir.
the mic tonight. I just had a lot to say.
Go for it.
I just had a lot to say. But anyways, thank you guys again. And thank you to Detroit Sports Podcast, as usual. Just such awesome network to be a part of. And we'll see you guys next week. This has been the Fan Reporters. Bye, fans.
For fans.
Thank you guys again. Have a good one. Enjoy your week. Go Lions.